Hello friends, and a very warm welcome to the magical world of Lavinia's stamps. I'm Lisa Taggart, and today we're mainly using ink pads to do a sort of watercolour background. It's nearly Easter and I thought this would suit the theme very well. I'm calling this little picture the treasure hunt, and the idea, I suppose, is that the hares are searching for Easter eggs in the long grass, etc. Now we're going to be using the salt technique to add texture to this picture, and it's really very straightforward, not too many materials and reasonably quick. So before we begin, let's have a look at some of those materials and the stamps used for today's project. Starting with the amazing Elements ink pads, we've got Della Blue for the sky, a little bit of that. We've got Merlot, which I'm going to mix with Violet Chalk for mountains and meadows. Lime Punch for a bit of punch. Sundance to bring in the sunshine. Pine for the grass. And Mermaid for a little mystique. Also for stamping, we've got Purple Delight, Warm Breeze, Golden Meadow, and finally Twilight. We'll be using some pens. First of all, we have the acrylic pens, the Posco in yellow, and another paint pen from another set. I can't quite see there. We've got the sparkle pens in golds and pink, and we've also got the Tombow dual end markers, and I've pulled out purple and pink of those just to add a few little coloured details. We've got the Stabilo All black pencil, and of course the Uniball Signo broad white gel pen. In terms of sparkle, we've got the diamond stickles for a little twinkle. We've also got a water brush and some paint brushes. I'm using the large and the medium, and of course we are using the beautiful nice flat watercolour card from Lavinia Stamps, along with some water in a spray. Now the salt is a mixture of it's just ordinary household rock salt and table salt. Now for the stamps, we've got the moon gazing hare, and I've pulled out the woodland hares and taken this one from the set. We've got skeleton tree, the twisted vine set, and the flora set. We've a lavender, and finally the butterflies. So this is for treasure hunt. And if you want to transform the stamps into a picture, something like this, just keep on watching. Now, as you can see, I've selected out my colours, and I'm going to start the background. As I said, we're using the watercolour card, and I've cut this to approximately 7 by 8 inches. As you know, I work mainly with pictures. I don't always make cards. I mainly do wall art, so you can adjust the size of this to your card making needs. Now I'm taking some water and I'm brushing it to the top half, or the top third I should say, and I'm taking my blue and squeezing it. And there's a few ways you can use these ink pads. You can either squeeze and use the colour from the lid. You can also press it onto your mat if you want a deeper application, and you can dip your brush in. I use all three, as you'll see, just whatever works for you. Now the sky colour is very pale in this picture, and I'm really just sweeping over some colour just to take away the white and keeping it quite pale. I'm also unusually, I guess, for this type of watercolour picture, I'm putting the water on the page as I go along rather than saturating it all at once. So you'll see that I'm doing colour by colour and wetting it as I go down, and I'm starting now with the next section to add in the darker colours. And the reason I'm doing this is because towards the end I'm going to add the salt, and I don't want the water to have dried on the page, so this is a more spontaneous way of using the watercolour wet on wet technique. Okay, that's the picture mounted and framed, and you'll see that I've added in the trees towards the edges because I felt that it needed a little something there to frame it and draw the eye into the centre, and I used the Twilight ink pad for that. I've also used a range of my pens, my acrylic paint pens, just to add literally dots to the trees in the pink, the green and the white. And I think also added a little bit of gold, and it was really just to give the impression of spring buds in the trees, and it wasn't difficult to do. Most of all of this is just literally little dots, so I think it makes a difference, and it does help to draw the eye into the rest of the picture. And so as you can see, it's quite straightforward really, just random stamping and highlighting with little dots here and there, and it's always also useful to know you don't need to use the entire stamp when you're stamping out an image, so they look as though they're nestled into the flowers and grass of the meadow. So as you can see, it's mounted onto black, and that's actually more of a lilac colour, but under the lights it's showing a little pink. If you've enjoyed this video or you've learnt something today, I'd so appreciate it if you consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell, etc. Also leave me a comment. I see I've added another butterfly there as well, just drawing your attention to that. As usual, check out the description box below for more information and product links, and take very good care of yourselves, and I'll see you again.